Hello everyone, Johnny here. Today we are starting a new series. We'll learn Japanese while playing The Legend of Zelda, the one for the family computer for us outside of Japan, the NES, but in this case the distinction is even more so important since it was actually for the Famicom disk system, as we see when we see the box art. And let's open it. As you can see here, it says disk system, and yes, it's unlike Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 2, it's for the Famicom disk system, and that's that allows it to also to save the game, luckily, as we'll see. Before starting the game, let's pay attention to the Japanese title. In Japanese, The Legend of Zelda is called Zelda no Densetsu. Zelda, it's the name of the princess, and it's written in katakana, as you see. If you recall from our Super Mario Bros. 2 series, no is the possessive particle written in hiragana, and then we have densetsu, legend, written in kanji. And yes, before starting actually playing the game, I wanted to start with an introduction to kanji, because even though we luckily won't see them in-game, they're a fundamental part of the Japanese language, as you can see by this very title, because that uses all the three writing systems of Japanese, 4 if you include also our alphabet, the arrow of fantasy above the actual title. And so yes, let's start this introduction to kanji. By checking out the title of the game, and in particular the word densetsu. As you can see here, it shows the accent. It's an unaccented word, densetsu. And it's composed of two kanji, den and setsu. Let's start with den. Den is composed of two parts. We start with the left one, since it is also the easiest one. And it's, let's see where, yeah, you have to click here. It's the kanji for person, as you can see here with the, here we can see how it used to be written when kanji were invented, and so quite in the past. And as you can see, it's the side view of a standing man, but then it evolved and became the kanji we use today for person, written like this. As usual, top to bottom, slanted, and then top to bottom slanted, like this, globally left to right. Top to bottom slanted, top to bottom slanted. As you can see also here with the arrows. When found in compounds, like the one we've seen, it becomes like this. It's written again top to bottom, slanted, and then top to bottom. And in then it's the so-called radical. Radicals are the part of kanji that you need to look them up in dictionaries. But more often than not, they also are the part that specifies the meaning of a kanji. And so in our case, something related to people, okay. Of course, we'll see kanji like this one better when the time comes when we actually see them in games, and so we focus also on the readings and so on. And yes, this is a pictogram in Japanese. Wait, let's try it. Let's open it. Shoke pictogram. These are the other categories. We only need 4 for today, and are also the fundamental ones. Pictograms, ideograms, compound ideographs, and phonosemantic compounds. Our then is a so-called phonosemantic compounds because the part to the left is our radical, but also the exclusively semantic part. The one to the right is the phonetic one. That is, it indicates the pronunciation of the kanji in, of course, in Chinese, and then the way that Japanese took it from Chinese. The specification is important because, as we'll eventually see, kanji also have Japanese pronunciations. In this case, the part to the right was actually way more complex, but it was simplified, and it became like this. Okay. Let's see now the part for setsu. in this case too, we have a part on the left, which is also the radical, and one to the right that gives the pronunciation. You focus on the one to the left. It's slightly simplified, but compared to the traditional form, but only in the direction of the strokes on top of the part to the right, so don't mind it. We'll focus on the semantic part in this case to see some examples of the other kinds of kanji. First and foremost, we start from the pictogram that resembles an open mouth, and it's simply a square. Let's see if I can open the other one. No, I have to open this one. As you can, not sure if the animation shows up in the video, but yes, you start here, top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom as a single stroke, and then left to right at the bottom. Top to bottom, left to right, top to bottom, left to right. As you can see, not this one, this is how the pictogram used to be. As you can see here, also with the arrows. From this, we get another pictogram for tongue, and as we add the part that was actually, as we can see in the original glyphs, the tongue, and then got modified with time and became what it looks like now. As you can see, we start here at the top to bottom slanted, then left to right, top to bottom, and then we write the mouth as we have seen before. Top to bottom, slanted, left to right, top to bottom, and then we write the mouth. As you can see, also here, the stroke order, and also with the arrows. From that, they create. We get the ideogram, as they took the pictogram for tongue and added a horizontal stroke to the top to indicate its movement. And so we get the ideogram for speech, to speak, and so on. You can then, unfortunately, it got modified with time, and so you don't see clearly the tongue anymore. A way to remember it now is that you see the words coming out of the mouth. We write it with the comma on top, then left to right, left to right, left to right, and at last again our mouth. Comma on top, left to right, left to right, left to right, our mouth at the bottom. As you can know, there aren't the strokes, but I've explained them. And last but not least, we get this part 1, which works as the phonetic part for setsu. And it could be also a phonosemantic compound. In this case, the top part and then the one at the bottom, which is again person, or the other kind of kanji, and it is the ideogrammic compound. We have the strokes at the top, which are the speech, breath part, then the mouth, and then person. So yes, this was just to introduce at least a little kanji, their kinds, and also see, and also see the word in the title for Legend Densetsu. But again, we study kanji more in detail when they show up in games. Technically, it shows up as the title, but since these are more complex, well, we have seen at least how you write some basic ones that are person, mouth, tongue, and say. But yes, we'll see them more in detail at a later time. Okay, now we can actually start our game. We get the title screen again, Zelda no Densetsu. If we wait, the story shows up and is actually in English, even in the Japanese version. And then a list of the treasures, which are both in English and in Japanese. And my idea is that we'll see them, their Japanese names, later when we actually find them in game. We'll go back to this screen and see their name, and I'll tell you about them. And we'll do so by saving it like this. Let's see if it works. Okay, slightly too late. So let's go back. Oops. We got a weird sound. Okay, let's wait a little more and see it again. So I can save it. So now let's at least read the story even if it's in English. Long ago, Ganon, Prince of Darkness, stole the Triforce of Power. Princess Zelda of Hyrule broke the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 pieces and hid them from Ganon before she was kidnapped by Ganon's minions. Link must find the pieces and save Zelda. Again, we see the list of all treasures. And this time, let's try to save it slightly earlier. Just to show the graphic properly of the items on top. It doesn't work again. What matters is that we get the... Okay, this should be fine. We'll check in a minute. And then save also this screen. Okay. Okay, now it starts and we can also see the item. Then it goes here. and then this screen. Okay, we'll keep them saved for now, and we'll come back to them when the time comes. Well, for at least one of them quite soon, since it's the very start of the game. Without further ado, let's start. We can see at the top the message in katakana. As we'll see, or at least based on the little I've tested it, the in-game writings are all in katakana. And so, most likely because of technical limitations, considering also that it's a Famicom Disk System game. And so yes, we see these writings in katakana. I'll read them, translate them, and then comment them also. The writing at the top says, Serecto shite kudasai. Serecto would be written in katakana even usually, as it's select from English. Shite is the te form of the verb suru. As we have seen in a previous lesson, suru is the verb to do. And it's used in combination with English words, also kanji compounds, like not in the case of densetsu, but in the specific case of densetsu, but similar compounds, to make their respective verb, literally, in this case, do select. The form is a quite important form in the Japanese language, as it has several uses. A fundamental one is that it's the form that you have to change the verb into to have the meaning of that verb and then the continuation of the phrase of the sentence. But in this case, we use it to add another verb. So it's a special combination, and that verb is kudasai. It's from the verb kudasaru, to give. We'll see that there are several verbs of giving in Japanese, but we won't discuss them at the moment. Just know for now that the combination te kudasai means please do the action of the verb. In this case, please select. Please do select, literally. And so yes, it's quite important, as it's the polite form of the imperative in Japanese. Okay. Now, at the bottom, we see above the writing kill mode, which is a funny way to actually say that use that option to cancel your file, your save file. On top of that, we see the namae toroku option. Namae means name. To be precise, usually more the given name. And toroku Toroku is a kanji compound, here written simply in katakana as everything else. Also, the word namae, despite being a compound of Japanese terms, is also written in kanji usually. And Toroku, reminder that as usual, O-U combination is long O. Toroku means registration. And so that option, which we'll now select, is name registration. Okay. It takes a little because again, it's back then it was actually reading from the disk, so a floppy disk, so it takes some time. As you can see here, we have we can select from all the katakana syllabary. Aiueo, kakikukeko, sashisu-se-so, tachitsu-te-to, nani-nune-no, ha-hi-fu-he-ho, mami-mume-mo, yayu-yo, rari-ru-re-ro, wa-o, wo, and then also small aiueo, yayu-yo, small tsu, dakuten, handakuten, the long vowel mark, and then some symbols, a dot, a plus, then our numbers, and then our alphabet. In this case, we'll call our save file the name of the protagonist, and so Rinku. Ri, Ku. Okay, with the select button we go to the bottom. As you can see on top again it says Namae Toroku. And now at the bottom we can choose the option Toroku Owaru. Owaru is a verb that means to finish. And so finish, the registration finishes. And so we select that. We have finished the registration. We have our save file called Rinku. And so we can start it. And here we are. We can enter the cave. The old man says to us, Hitori dewa kikenza kore o Sasuke yo. The first, so we have two sentences. The first one, Hitori dewa. As for going, it's not mentioned. As for literally, as for being alone, Hitori means one person. Hitori de as one person. We had the particle de. And then we had the topic particle we have seen before, ha, but when used as the topic particle, wa. Hitori de wa, as by yourself, kiken ja. Kiken means it's an adjective, na adjective, because it's not an actual adjective that ends in as those all end with the syllable E, as we have seen, as I've mentioned in the previous series. And so in this case, we have to add the copula, which would usually be in the plain speech, because here it's in plain speech. It will be da, as we have seen before. But in this case, this person uses za. That's a peculiarity seen in fiction. Usually it's not seen in real life, that all characters replace the copula da with za. And so the first sentence means, as by alone, it's dangerous. The famous, translated in English, it's dangerous to go alone. Then the second sentence, koreo, written with wo, more often than not pronounced as o. Sometimes you can hear it as a wo, for example, in singing, but usually it's pronounced as o. And it's the object particle. And so the object of this sentence is kore, which means is the pronoun for this. As we have mentioned in previous lessons, there are three distances in Japanese, and in this case, ko shows that it's this, as in something close to the speaker. If it were something close, far from the speaker but close to the listener, it would be written as so. In this case, for the pronoun sore, unaccented. If it were something far from both the speaker and the listener, it would be are, also unaccented. And then we also have the question word dore. In this case, the question word, it's accented on the first one, which means which one, usually between not just two options, but three or more. So yes, in this case, it says these, and then Sasuke yo. In this case, it means, as I show you, it means to give, to bestow. You want to grant, to give. And with the verb would be sazukeru. Let's see. I'll check if it's accented or not. Yes, it's accented. So sazukeru. And then we replace the final ru with you. You. So long yo. And it's the exhortative in English more often than not in the sense of let's. So literally he says let's bestow you this. Let's grant you this, as in this item. We'll see those forms later. The one for let's, especially since in this case it's plain speech, so it's not for now. So globally, this character says, as for alone, it's dangerous. Let's grant you this. And so translated as it's dangerous to go alone, take this in English. And so let's get the item. And this is, as we can see here in our video, our sword. Sodo. Again, we see the long vowel mark, and so it's a long O of the first one, sodo. Okay. We can now actually start the game by going up. Hitting some Octoroks. Let's enter here for a moment. And this character says Nanka Kote Kure Ya. In this case, it's a particular kind of speech. It's actually a phrase in Kansai Ben, the Kansai dialect. You can find it in fiction, and it can have various connotations. In this case, simply because it's a merchant, and so I wanted to characterize it this way. Nanka is in standard Japanese nanika, a combination of nani, as we have seen before in a previous series, what, and you must certainly have heard it in Japanese anime or something like that, the famous meme of Fist of the North Star also. And yes, nani means what. By adding ka, which is also at the end of sentences the interrogative particle, and so we use it for to make questions. But when you add it to an interrogative, a question word, it becomes some thing. In this case, something. So nanka in standard Japanese nanika means something. Kote is a particular, is again, as you can see from the te at the end, is again a te form. Unfortunately, it's one that differs in Kansai Ben compared to standard Japanese, as in standard Japanese it would be katte, from the verb kau, to buy. So, kote, or in Kansai Ben, or katte in standard Japanese, means buy. And we put it in the te form to then add the verb kureru. Kureru means to give. And so literally it would be we take away the ru at the end as an imperative form, a peculiar one, but that's also in we can also see it in standard Japanese. And it will literally be give me the buying, as in make me the favor of buying something. And then we have a ya at the end. Most likely a particle. Could also be, since he's speaking in Kansai Ben, a form of the copula, but doesn't look like it because of the kure before it. And let's see. I'd say it's more likely than not kind of like yo in standard Japanese. Not completely sure, since I haven't seen it that much in the Kansai Ben I know, but it could be something like yo in standard Japanese, a sentence final particle that means as in hey, like hey, or you know, certainty, emphasis, and so on. In this case, I'd say emphasis, and in English, it became by something will ya, if I remember correctly. They kept kind of a wordplay between the ya, English ya for you, and the ya here in the original Japanese. But yes, globally, this sentence means please, no please, actually, because that would be better expressed by the kudasai, even though kure also kind of works, but it's blunter. Buy something. We are not buying anything for now because we don't have money. Okay. So let's continue. We got again a rupee. Let's see if we can see it also here in the list of items. Yep. It's right here. Rupee in Japanese with the long E, rupee. When we come back, the audio becomes funny, but that's not too bad. wanted to try to... Yeah, I need a heart. Okay, we got it. And so we can check also the word here. Hato. As we have seen during previous series, it's an unaccented word. And yes, it's English. Hard mode. Simply. Quite simple. Hato. Okay. With that, we can go here. Wait. Okay, nothing. Okay, let's continue. Thought there could be some issues. Well, let's take this as a chance to see what it says in our inventory. Inventory just in English. Under the box on the left, it says B botan de Tsukao Takara, which means with the, as in the particle, instrumental particle, and so with the B button, B botan de Tsukao, it's the verb to use, Takara, treasure. This is a short sentence that actually includes a relative clause, because the use with the B button modifies the following noun, which is Takara, treasure, and so it would be treasure that you use with the B button. You is not mentioned, is not found in the sentence, it's implied. You won't see, pun intended, as many use and as many pronouns in general in Japanese, because they're not needed. They're implied and you can understand them from the context. In this case, the treasure, you, or also one in this case, uses with the B button. At the bottom of the triangles, of course, we have the Torai-force, the Triforce, Torai-force. Here's a good example, for example, of the combination, the special katakana combination fu plus small o to have the syllable fo. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, we got a fairy. And speaking of, let's see it in our item list. Yose. A good example of a word that has both the O-U combination and that you read as long O, and the E-I combination that you read as long E. There are some who still pronounce the E-I combination as A, but in standard Japanese it's long E, and so yose should be unaccented, but I'll check it. Let's see. Yose, yep, unaccented. And it's the word for fairy. Okay, let's go back to the game. Oops. Let's continue up here. I feel like I went a little... Nope, here we are, where I wanted to go. Let's try to defeat these leaders. To get some money. Wanted also a heart. To get back our sword beam, but unfortunately... Oops. Be careful not to die. Okay, we got some hearts. Fortunately not enough for the sword beam. And okay. And with that, we've arrived, as soon as it loads, at level 1, our first dungeon. Okay, let's say we can take a break now, and so when we are back, again as usual, in 5 minutes, we'll start, we'll do the first level, level 1, the first dungeon of the game. Okay, see you in 5 minutes. And we are back. And so now we can start level 1, the first dungeon. Let's go to the right, I think, first. Yes, to get the key. I've played The Legend of Zelda several times before, but I've never finished it, so this series will be an occasion for me to finally do so. Okay. We got the key. And since we got the key, we can see it also here. Okay. Let's see if I recall correctly, it was at the end. Yep. As you can see here, the key, in this case, simply called key, also in Japanese, yes, from English key. Okay, can continue. We could open that since we have the key, but we can go here first. Oops, I have to be careful to not die. We get another key. Okay, let's go up. Defeat these Stalfos. Careful. Like some health, if possible. Unfortunately, they won't give us anything. Not an item, not some health. Nothing. Speaking of nothing in Japanese, as we'll eventually see, you get it. It's actually more of an anything with a negative sentence, the negative verb, and you make it by combining nani, what, with mo, the inclusive particle, also too. And yes, nanimo means anything, with the negative verb nothing. But luckily these enemies gave us a key. Let's see, let's try again to the right. Yes, we get the compass. I feel like we should have got... don't remember where the map is in this dungeon, at least for now. Okay, let's defeat... oh boy, we're risking quite... okay, the Triforce is up there. Compass shows that in this game. And let's also check, because it should be there, if I recall correct. Or not. Nope. Ah, yes. It's at the very bottom. Compass. Compass. And so the n in the middle, because there's a following p, becomes m. Compass. Compass in English. The English word. Okay. Let's continue. I feel like I'll die soon enough, but yeah, as soon as I say it. But luckily in this case we don't lose some much progress, unlike in when you lose all lives in Super Mario Bros. So we continue, and we can see this screen. We have the option Suzukeru, continue, to continue in Japanese. As you can see, since the origin of the word, it's tsu repeated with the one in the middle becomes voiced because it follows the other one. It's still written with tsu instead of su with the dakuten. Tsu with dakuten. Suzukeru, to continue. Then we have Owaru, as we have seen, to end. In English it was changed as a save, because luckily when you end the game, it saves. And the last option, it says in Japanese, Yari naosu, a compound verb, which combines the verb yaru, another form in this case of to do. It also has other meanings, but this is the one for now. Changed in I to combine it with the following verb, naosu. Naosu would mean to fix. And so literally it would be to do and fix. And so yes, in the sense of retry, do it again. Okay, I think we have to choose Suzukeru in this case. Yes. And so we get back here at the start of the dungeon. Okay, here there was nothing. Here nothing as well, at least now. We got the key, we already got the key. So we can go up. Up again. Let's ignore the enemies. Here to the right we got the compass. No need to do it again. Send some beams to avoid getting defeated again. Let's defeat these bats to see if they drop something. If they drop Nanika, as we've seen before. Nope, they simply open the door to go back, but we have to advance by opening this locked door. Let's defeat these. I think these are Zols or mini Zols. We can push the block to open that locked door. We're going there first. Okay, there's an old man that says Okane ga naku nareba ya wa tsukaenai. Okane means money. Kane on its own means gold. We add the prefix that beautifies it, that makes it more polite. And yes, usually the word okane is used this way, always with the o before it to mean money. Okane ga, we add the subject particle ga. Naku nareba, naku from the adjective nai, which means to not be, in the sense to not have. With we change the i with ku to make this form that's used for adverbs, and also in this case the combination naku naru, by adding the verb naru to become, then change the final ru with in e and adding the ba. The ba is one of the ways to say if slash when in Japanese. So this first part means if you lose, literally it becomes nothing. If the money becomes nothing, so if you don't have money in this case, ya, wa, ya is the word for arrow. Ha again is the pronounced as wa in this case because it's the topic particle. As for the arrows, tsukae nai, from tsukau, which we have seen in the post menu. Tsukau, I think it's unaccented. I'll check quickly. Yes, unaccented. Tsukau. The verb to use. We change the vowel in e to make the potential form. So tsukaeru, tsukaeru means can be used, or in this case to be able to use, in this case can be used. By removing the ru and adding nai, we get the same nai we have seen above, as in nakunareba. By adding nai, you get the negative form, and so can't, cannot be used, can't be used. So, as for the arrows, can't be used if you lose, if you don't have money. Sorry, that's okay. Everything is fine. And yes, this is the old man that tells us that to use arrows in this game, you need rupees, and each arrow costs a rupee. You can't use the arrows if you don't have money. Why does it tell us that? Well, we'll see soon enough. Okay. And so there's the map, luckily. So we can finally see the layout of this dungeon. It's the eagle. Here in the inventory it shows the rooms we have actually visited. And so since we got the map, we can see its Japanese name. Not that one, it's at the very bottom along with the compass. But in this case, in Japanese it's written as Chizu. I think an accented, I'll check just to be sure. Nope, it's actually accented, so Chizu. Also pretty sure there's an opening of One Piece that's called Kokoro no Chizu. And so the map of the heart, Kokoro, means heart, mind, spirit in Japanese. And so yes, we have the Japanese word for map, Chizu. Okay, let's go back to the game. Okay, we could open the door, but we're going up first, as that way is the Triforce. We got a 5 rupee, so let's check it here. And it's written also in Japanese with our number 5 and then rupee. More likely than not, it's actually pronounced in this case the word the 5 as go. Go is the Japanese word for 5 taken from Chinese, and it's the most common way to say the number 5. As we'll see, unfortunately, in Japanese there are several ways to say the various numbers, which are used in different contexts. But the most common ones usually are when used on their own, or also with, in this case, an English word, so not your usual Japanese word from Chinese, or that were in Japanese even that are strictly Japanese. Yeah, the most common way to say 5 is go. We have seen before in previous lessons the words for, I'm pretty sure, ichi, also pronounced as ich when we don't make the final E barely audible or not audible at all, because of the usual rule of the E and U at the end of a word when they're preceded by an unvoiced consonant. Ichi, number 1. Ni, number 2. San. Don't think we have seen that one, but the Japanese word for 3 is san. Not to be confused with the san for added to names to say Mr. and so on. Then we have technically from Chinese xi, and it's still sometimes used, but not that often because it can be confused with the word also from Chinese, xi, which means death. And so, yes, that's why they prefer not saying it usually. And so they use a strictly Japanese word, which is yon. And then we have go. We'll see the numbers again when the time comes, but since we have seen the 1, 4, 5 here, wanted to at least introduce them. So we have ichi, ni, san, go, yon, go. Okay. We can go back to the game and continue. Okay. We have the gorillas, if I recall correctly. Okay, get a key. Okay. Let's avoid the traps. Push the block. Go down the stairs. And yes, that's why the old man told us about arrows. It's because we're getting the bow here. Oops. But only the bow, so without arrows, and so even though arrows, as he mentioned, use money, you have to buy an arrow to combine it with the bow to then use it. So we have to do that when the time comes, when we find it at a shop. But we can see the word for bow. Okay. Oops. Let's advance. Yes, and there it is. Yumi. Pretty sure it's either accented on the last one or unaccented. Let's check. Yep, accented on the last one. So if we added a particle, then the particle would be low, unlike unaccented words in which the particle would still be high. So in this case, with the bow, I'd say yumide, adding the particle, the instrumental particle de, yumide. Okay, we can go back to the game. And now that we got the bow, we can leave this room. Let's avoid the traps as usual. Let's avoid them. Leave the actual room. Go back. And now open this door. Okay. Let's defeat the gorillas. Yeah, we actually have the shield, so if you don't attack, you can send them the boomerangs back and avoid damage. So we have seen. Okay. There's the key, but a wall master got us and sent us back to the beginning of the dungeon. Luckily, it's not that far away, but let's be careful next time. Well, at least I've shown what they do. better here than elsewhere, honestly. Hopefully we can avoid getting taken from them again. Later dungeons where it would be much worse. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we are back here against the gorillas. Let's quickly defeat them. Though we don't need to. Well, good thing we did, as we got some bombs. Let's check them in the items. And there it is. And it's written as in Japanese as Bakudan, which is the Japanese word for bomb. I think it's, I'll check, an unaccented word. Yep, unaccented. And so yes, that's the word for bomb. Okay, let's continue. This time, let's get the key while avoiding the wall masters, please. Yes, we did it. And we get here against Aquamentus, the boss of this dungeon. Let's avoid... oh boy. Should have been more aggressive at the start. But unfortunately I wasn't, so... we got defeated. But... let's get back. Okay, in this case, I wanted to keep my health. Let's see if by defeating some enemies we can get a heart back. Not these ones. For example, these bats. Nope. Out the mini souls will help. They didn't, they hurt us even more. Let's see. Somebody could drop a heart, please. Nope. Let's continue. Maybe the gorillas. Be so kind. Nope, a rupee. Oh boy, wasn't oriented well enough. Yep. Well, that's a different way to recover all your health. Okay, let's be careful this time. Let's get back to the boss. While not defeating all enemies, but only the ones in our way, to avoid losing our health again. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Yeah, the gorillas being all there, it's not good. Now one drops a heart, of course. Let's avoid the boomerang and continue. Let's ignore the wall masters. And now we are back against Aquamentus. Yeah, this is a much easier way to defeat it. Shooting our sword beam. And so we get a hard container. Let's see it here. Container hard in English here. While in Japanese it's inochi no utsuwa. Literally, container of life. Inochi means life. Pretty sure it's an accented word, but of course, never hurts to check. Yep, inochi, accented on the first one. No, the possessive particle, so of life, and then utsuwa, unaccented, which means bowl, vessel, but yes, also container in general. And so yes, we have heart container, hearts container. Inochi no utsuwa. Okay. Let's go back to the game and get our first Triforce piece. Refills our hearts and sends back outside. Oops. Outside of the dungeon. Okay. As you can see, also it shows here now. Now we can also have some items that we can assign. For now we'll keep the boomerang and switch to the bombs only when needed. But before continuing, let's see. Not this, but the Triforce in Japanese, it says kakusareta, which means it's from kakusu, to hide. By switching the vowel to a and adding reru, we get the passive. To be hidden. And then if we take away the ru and add ta, we get the past form. And so which it was hidden. The past form in ta follows the same conjugation of the te form, except that it's ta instead of te. And we'll see, of course, them more in detail, but wanted to introduce it. So yes, then we have chie no. Chie means wisdom. Think it's accented on the first one, but we'll check. Could be. Let's see. Nope, accented on the last one, so chie. In this case, by adding no, I'm pretty sure, I'll check it, that it actually becomes unaccented, because that should be a rule of no. So, chie no. No, as usual, is the possessive particle, so of wisdom, and between quotes, Triforce. So, the quote-unquote Triforce of wisdom. Again, the verb before it is a relative, an attributive, and so that modifies the following noun, but can also be seen as a relative clause. And so the quote-unquote triforce of wisdom, which was hidden. For now, let's ignore the message at the bottom, which Link is holding. And let's go back to our game. Oops. Okay, of course, immediately I get hit by an Octorok. Okay, we have a good amount of money. Not sure if it's enough to... Ooh, very nice. Not sure if it's enough to buy something. But I'd say we can, for now, go toward the second dungeon. It should be by continuing this way, more or less. Careful of the levers. Okay. Nice that we are getting more money. Always useful. I think by going this way. Oops. This is the quote-unquote desert shown by the dots. Not this way, I think it's above. Let's see. Yeah, I think I have to continue this way. And we get here at this giant rock. Also some tectites. Let's try to get rid of them. And by bombing the rock here, I'm pretty sure. Let's switch to our bombs, our Bakudan. Yep. A door, an entrance opens. Switch back to the boomerang for now. Ah no, it's actually a cave with an old man who says Tsukina ho o Sasuke yo. Again, Sasuke yo, let's grant you. You is implicit. Ho o, again o, the object particle. So the object of Sasuke yo is ho. Ho in this case should be literally direction. And so the one, because we have two options, literally let's give you the one, skina, ski, again the usual between unvoiced consonants, so it becomes barely audible if at all. Ski, which I'm pretty sure we have seen, I've mentioned it at least before, means to be like something that is liked. It's the adjective to be liked. And again, it's a na adjective. So if we found it at the end of a sentence, we could add the copula. In the plain speech, da. Ja in the case of this old man, because he's old. But when we want to put it before a noun to modify that noun, we have to use na, and that's why they're called na adjectives. So, skina, ho, skina, that which is liked. So this sentence means let's grant you the one that you like. The one that we like, we're definitely not getting the left one, but we'll show what that is. That's an inochi no mizu aka, second portion in English. Again, we see inochi, life, with the possessive particle no. So, of life, mizu, unaccented, means water, and so water of life. And then we have separated aka, which we have seen before in a previous series. That means red. Red as in the noun. So literally it would be water of life, space, red. If we wanted to say the red water of life, we should have got the adjective from aka by adding I, akai, and accented. And then, since it's an I adjective, you can put it before a noun to modify it as is. So in this case, akai inochi no mizu. And it would become the red potion, the red water of life. Yeah, not getting that, of course, because what we want is the hard container. Okay. Let's see. Then it should be towards the bottom, if I recall correctly. Oh boy, against these moblins, relatively strong, not the best place to be. Let's go towards the bottom. Oh boy. At the very least, I think it should... And we got hit by the arrow, of course. That's Suzukeru. Continue. Let's go this way. Let's see if I recall correctly, at the very least, that the second dungeon is this way. More or less. Hearts that we don't need. Several tektites. I think there's a cave here. Let's try with one bomb. Yep. Let's move back to the boomerang. And again, this old man says, Skina ho Sasuke yo. Let's grant you the one you like. Again, the hard container, of course. the water of life red would be a waste. Maybe there's also a cave on the screen, but I'm not risking using my bombs now. Oh boy. Yeah, of course I died. Actually, it was close enough, so we get there quickly. Let's avoid the Nocturx projectiles. Let's defeat the Tectites. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue. Yeah, not risking using my bombs for nothing on these screens. Not this one either. I think this one there would be something, but let's avoid it for now. Let's enter here. Again, a merchant. Make me the favor of buying something. But we can't. I'd rather keep my money for these arrows. Let's see if we can get enough and then we'll be back here. A second. Okay, let's stop everyone. Ah yes, we got again a timer, which I think shows up among the items. Yep. A clock. And yes, it's actually the word for clock in Japanese, toke. I think it's... don't remember if it's unaccented or accented on the first one. Let's see. Unaccented, okay. Toke. And yes, means clock. And yes, it stops all enemies, luckily. Let's see. This way we get back to where we were. Sure. That we can get for now. Unfortunately. So we'll be back for it later. Okay. Oh, some bombs. Nice. Those are always nice to get. So we don't have to buy them. Okay. Oh boy. About to die. We are about to die, of course. And we died. Let's see. Let's get back there. Yeah, at this point, I'm not sure we'll be able to do the second dungeon today, but at least let's try to get there. And at this point, since we are so close, buy the arrows, so we can finally use them. The bow won't be just there in our inventory, not even selectable. Okay, we got again some health and some bombs. The limit for the bombs for now should be 8, so we are full for now. Okay, there's a cave here, which is again a shop. Definitely buying the arrows, maybe even immediately, if this one gives us... Nope. Let's get a rupee, please. Yep, here's the rupee, and so we are getting the arrows now. Okay, we are back in the desert. I'm convinced that the dungeon is around here, but I don't remember exactly where. Above, I think we are getting close. Well, maybe it's actually above, because the one I'm thinking of is maybe to the left. Let's see what this cave is. Okay, another shop. This one, oh boy, we should have kept our money, because this is a much more important item than the arrows. But let's remember that it's here to get it when we have 60 rupees. Speaking of 60, in Japanese, to say 60, you say rokuju, which is 6, because 6 in Japanese from Chinese is roku, sometimes rock, again, because the usual rule. Oh boy, we lost. Let's continue. But yes, as I was saying, it's 60 is rokuju, 6 plus, and then followed by ju, which means 10. And so 6 times 10, rokuju rupee, 60 rupees is our objective. Okay. Let's see. Wanted to go back up there. I know this is the shop we've already seen, where we got the arrows. Maybe it's at the very top, to the right. Let's see. Here. Oh boy, let's avoid time to the tactiles. Please. That's the shop we need. Okay, not this way. Maybe down here. Up here. Oh boy, of course they got us. We'll try to get back there. And we'll see if it's actually there. Level 2. In which case, good. But of course we don't have time to tackle it now. And so it will do so next time. Continue. This way maybe it's somewhat safer at least. And also more lucrative. We're getting some rupees. Okay, also got a heart. Of course we needed to use it. Oh boy. Yeah, the Zoras, the river Zoras don't help. Okay. Here's a heart. Nope. And we lost. Oh well. Let's try another way. Okay, let's avoid the pea hats. Let's try to get back to where we were. Okay, not this way, but here. Yeah, we should get the candle as soon as we can, because then we can start burning the bushes. We keep on the trees, or however they're called in this game, that we keep on seeing. Okay. Fortunate that we lost a heart, but better. We're definitely in a better position now. Okay. Let's go up. Okay, now this is the... Yeah. Here the old man says, Koreo Oba-san ni misete goran. Koreo, again, object particle plus kore, this. Oba-san ni. Ni is the particle, in this case, to someone. And this someone is the Oba-san. Oba-san is the word for grandmother, but also to address an old woman in general that we don't know the name when we don't know her name. And so this to the old woman, misete goran. Miseru, to show. Then we take the ru off and add the te. Again, the te form, which in this case we need it to combine it with goran. Goran is a way to say to see, but in this case a way that is more polite than other ones. But in this case, combined with the te form, we get try to. More often than not, you'll find it as the te plus miru, as miru is the most common way to say the verb to see. And so, try to show this to the old woman. And so we get this item, which is the letter tegami in Japanese. Literally hand paper, because te means hand, kami in this case becomes ga because it's a compound word, like in origami, folded paper. And so yes, hand paper literally and means letter. I'm checking just to be sure. It's unaccented. Yes, unaccented. Okay. Let's go back. Yeah, it's not up here. Maybe to the right here. I think that's it. Maybe. Nope. Here the old man says, Okane o fuyasu game o suru kai. okane, again, o object particle, okane, as we have seen, money, fuyasu, to increase money, but this whole sentence is before the word game, English game, and so the game to increase, that increases money, o, again, object particle, suru, to do, and so do the game that increases money, and last but not least, kai, which is a particle, a sentence sentence ending particle, which is used for questions that you that have a yes or no answer. As I mentioned before, the usual particle for questions in general is ka, while kai specifically for yes or no questions, even though you could use also ka and it would be fine that way, but kai is more specific. We can't even try it because we don't have enough money. Okay, I'd say since I ended up not finding level 2, let's see. No, this way is again the coast, which we don't need now. I think maybe I remember. Let's try to get there quickly. I think it's around here, maybe. Seem to recall something like that. We're dying. We're trying to get there. Yeah, not this way. Yeah, no, I clearly have to check where level 2 is. Funny enough, I'm pretty sure I remember perfectly where level 3 is, and also at later ones, but I'm forgetting where level 2 is. Let's give it a final shot. Not this way, let's try like this. Above here. Nope, we're getting back to level 1, which we don't need. Oh well, we died. Let's say we can end it here for now. Okay. First, I'll try to... Okay. Let's save. Owaru. So actually end. It should be saving as per the English word. Yep. If I recall correctly, the number at the bottom is the number of deaths, and so yes, that checks out. But to be sure, I'll be saving also this way. Let's start it back for a second and see if we have everything. Yep, we have everything. Okay, so we can end it here. Let's go back to the title. And yes, next time we'll get to level 2. I check where that actually is, since I clearly don't remember it. And tackle that, and then continue from there. Okay. See you next time.